All right, so sometimes you may see me in my vehicle, and you'll also see that in some videos you see that I'm actually sweating profusely, you know what I'm saying? And that's all done by design. I actually do that on purpose. And the reason why is because it gets the juices going, you know what I'm saying? And the juices going is a big plus for the simple fact that, I mean, I operate better under stress sometimes. It's even like when somebody wants to take a jab at you and you get the adrenaline going and it basically sparks you up to just basically go and jab back, you know what I'm saying? But more in a sense where if you know how to jab, you know what I'm saying, you jab them right in the nose, you blind them out, and it's just basically one shot. Blinding them out, I mean, they're open for attack. You basically go for that kill after that, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, this right here is going to be basically, I'm going to be talking about melanin skin and whatnot. And this video was actually inspired by a video that popped up in my feed by, what the hell is his name? Jamal, something like that. Oh, Rashad Jamal. And he was talking about melanated skin and the law of attraction. And he says that, you know, the law of attraction only works for melanated people. Now, I heard the video once. I may have to go back and hear it again just to hear the specifics of what he was talking about. Where he was saying that, you know, this is, and I'm going to tell you right now, okay? The sun, when you look at the darker color pigmentations, it's more of an absorbing of the light, where let's say you got few melanin and eumelanin, where one is coming from like people with red skin or red hair and whatnot, or let's say lack of pigmentation, and then all of a sudden this is more or less like a reflective type of light. So they're not really absorbing it, but it's also a little bit more carcinogenic. You get what I'm saying? So when you got, let's say, melanated skin, you have the abilities to absorb the light. You know what I'm saying? However, this is one thing to take into account that's actually very important, because everybody can have the ability to utilize the sun as a tool. However, let's say, for example, anybody who goes out in the sun and has sunglasses on, okay, your body, for example, will not utilize the sun properly as if it would without you using sunglasses. This is very important. Your body doesn't know the difference between a real or a fake experience. So your body will actually release certain chemicals, okay, like serotonin, but also other chemicals in the body, okay, because D3 is a hormone that gets processed on the skin. But your eyes have to be observant of that light that's actually happening in your environment, and your body primes itself accordingly to basically process that sun on the skin. If you have sunglasses on, okay, your body is going to think that it is actually like darker than it actually is. So the sun can potentially end up harming you, okay? Now, this goes into anybody that actually goes out in the sun and you're wearing sunglasses, you're creating a detrimental chemistry because you're not in harmony with the sun, okay? So I'm going to talk about green thumb for that reason and all that, all right? Now, when you hear melanated people and they're in their ego talking about, because this is the thing though, these type of videos get a lot of views because it caters to people's ego. If you're in your ego, all right, you are basically narrowing your perception, okay? And you are limiting the amount of light that you are actually able to absorb in the exact same way, okay? Because this is also coming down to the calcification of the pineal gland and whatnot. If your pineal gland, you see, your pineal gland is calcified from lack of use, okay? If you use this pineal gland with intention, put focus and energy into utilizing this properly, basically, and it all works in harmony with the other chakras. You know what I'm saying? It works in harmony with your root chakra. And I'll make another video on that because I've made videos on the colors and frequencies and the chakras and all that. But this is going to go into the vaccine video that I'm talking about when it comes down to the planets, the ruling, the signs, the ruling planets, and the body parts that they co-govern, you know what I'm saying? Along with the chakra system. So I'm not going to tie that in here. But, okay, if a person, it don't matter if they're melanated or if they're light skinned, if you're wearing sunglasses, it is the same exact thing. Now, let's say a person who is not melanated also have moles, okay? These moles are actually patches of you know, darker skin, which is basically a cluster of melanocytes. These are equivalent and also a piece of technology that can also be utilized if you know how to get to that section and utilize it properly. They're more or less like portals. And the reason I say that is because since you have a bunch of pores, okay, then the same way you can use your pores, okay, for detoxification and also intaking nutrients, you have to understand that another thing that actually affects you from having a bad chemistry in the sun is diet. And the reason I say this is this, because when you eat things that are not in harmony with nature or not in with that don't belong in your body, when you go in the sun, you're going to sweat. And if you're eating oils that don't belong in the body, your body's made of water, okay? And your body being made of water, okay? And you're intaking these oils is what's going to come out of the skin. And these oils, if you ate it from meats and shit like that, these are acidic oils. So the sun, being organic, will never, ever cause cancer. The only way you get cancer is if these oils are on your skin, burning your skin. And do you notice how people use baby oil, sun tanning oils and whatnot? And that's in the interest of tanning your skin. If you're eating such a grapes, melons, cantaloupes, these things of nature, okay, you're going to actually glow in the sun. It don't matter what color you are. You're going to glow. You're going to have a golden color, okay? Like a copperish and goldish color. You're going to shine in the sun. And you're absorbing it, plus you're shining like a reflection, like a light, okay? Now, here's one thing though. As far as how the technology goes of absorbing universal consciousness, okay, it is possible with melanated skin to absorb that light, okay? When you're lighter, okay, you can acquire this easier in darker environments or even from the reflection of the moon, okay? That's why when you see pictures of Shiva, she looks blue. You know what I'm saying? Because she was actually super black. You don't see Superman or Wonder Woman, their hair is jet black, but then they put a shade of blue to make it seem like it's so black that it's actually blue. You know what I'm saying? So here's another thing. This is where I'm going to talk about the green thumb part. Earth, nature is green, okay? When you're in your heart space, okay? Because you see, I'm going to make another video as to why we think of the heart, we think of love. That's all we think about. But your heart is actually way different than that. But it does associate with love, but from an unconditional space. And for you to say that it is love, you have to even understand what that frequency of love is. You get what I'm saying? Because see, love is actually building in harmony. Nature is always trying to grow. Like I mentioned in the previous video, the trees are trying to grow as tall as possible. Nature tries to get as big as possible. Nature tries to become as abundant as possible. Look at the forest, the woods. All these trees are huddled together, all in the interest of that mycelium network underneath. They're able to have a very beautiful communication network underground. In turn, there's a frequency and vibration above with the environment of the air, okay, that they actually communicate with each other. But that right there, they take the sun's nutrients, bring it all the way down to the root system, feed that mycelium network. You get what I'm saying? That mycelium network in turn feeds the tree up above. It's a symbiotic relationship. This is why I said that your root chakra is supposed to be in harmony with your third eye and your pineal gland or your crown chakra. You know what I'm saying? Everything is supposed to be in harmony. It's also supposed to be in harmony from the inside out, in the sense where if your gut microbiome is flourishing, you got your appendix properly functioning on all levels, okay? Repopulating the gut microbiome would mean you fasting a bit, okay? Letting your stomach reset, because your body's always shedding dead skin cells. And it's also shedding the gastrointestinal walls every 3 days. That's why if you want the ultimate reset system, you fast for 3 days, you reset all your systems. And then when you do start eating again, you repopulate that gut microbiome with favorable foods such as melons, grapes, cantaloupes, honeydew, and shit like that. And then what's going to happen is that the appendix is going to repopulate the gut microbiome. Everything is going to be functioning properly and in harmony. When you go out in the sun hits your skin. It processes that D3 hormone on your skin. And in turn, here's the thing though, that what you're eating from the sun is also feeding that microbiome within you. Use the same analogy as is used with the mycelium network underground feeding the tree from up above. The tree from up above is feeding that mycelium network underneath. The network underneath is a communication system. The frequency of the air and the leaves and all that flowing in the wind, that's also a frequency. It's a vibration. It's a communication system. One tree is sick. One tree will actually pass nutrients to another tree to ensure its survival. When we garden, people say like, oh, plants compete for nutrients. This is if the soil is not conditioned properly. This is why if we're not conditioned properly, we're in competition mode. We're not supposed to be in competition mode. There's room of growth for everybody. Abundance is limitless. Now, you're here by yourself on this planet. You ensuring the survival and well-being of others, you're ensuring the survival and well-being of yourself. Now, in an immediate community, that's also very important. So let's talk about the green thumb part real quick. If I'm in my green thumb, I'm in my heart space. The plants, for example, my heart space is green. That's earth. I'm in tune with nature. If my solar plexus chakra is lit up properly, balanced, then what's happening is that I'm actually going to be shining bright from the inside out. My solar plexus, okay, is working in harmony with my heart chakra, okay, working in harmony with my throat, working in harmony with everything, with the root chakra in turn, okay? Now, here's what's happening though. You are like the same way, because this is the thing. This is the thing. Artificial intelligence has already taken over because you are artificial intelligence. You're inside if you look around you, you're surrounded by artificial intelligence. The plants lean toward the light, toward the sun, and you look at that and you're like, wow, is there an awareness to this, or is this just a level of intelligence that knows that when it leans toward the sun, it's absorbing something from the sun? Okay? Now, this is happening, okay, by what? I mean, like I said, artificial intelligence. Look at what happens here, okay? The plants look at you as a light as well, okay? Because the plants actually are able to sense frequencies. See, the plants don't have the complex level of emotions and, let's say, this is their planet. You know what I'm saying? This is why things appear to be bigger than you, like trees and whatnot, and people start to look up to trees rather than, looking at the trees and being able to have a symbiotic communication with the trees. Like when you hug a tree, and I made the video on tree hugging hippies. When you hug the tree, you feel good. It's a harmonious chemical that gets, produced in the body, oxytocin. You are actually passing this onto the tree. The tree is experiencing this human level emotion. You get what I'm saying? So there's a chemistry. So the same way you help your dog evolve because you give it proper care and love. See, dogs don't understand your language, but they understand your frequency. But they also can sense your vibes. Children, for example, they don't learn in the level that adults do. They just sense frequencies and they take in the vibes. That's what they're recording. That's why children, and I'm gonna make a separate video on the vaccines, because children, for example, they are basically recording. They're not intellectually learning. But do you notice how through all the vaccines and whatnot, they polarize them from that right space, or that balanced state rather, into the left side of memorization and whatnot. So the more you memorize with this brain, that recorder starts to get atrophied. You know what I'm saying? You start to program it with other things of memorization. You know what I'm saying? Because there's two levels to look at. There's two ways to look at intelligence. You can look at it from the intellectual way or the creative way. But a well-balanced individual is able to use creativity and use logic and intellect still to be able to sustain himself here and make sense out of things, to be able to interact with others. Other than that, you know what I'm saying? Children, for example, are in their creative space. Your job as a parent would be to give the child love, okay? Help that child evolve. And also guide the child and have positive, good energy and vibes around the child, because the child's just going to absorb your energy and vibes. You get what I'm saying? So the more love and the more support and guidance you can give your child will evolve into something bigger. Especially as an adult, they're going to come down to realizations. So you could be aware. You pass down genetic weaknesses to your child, and this could be done through observing the eyes. The iridology part of things, you may have genetic weaknesses that gets passed down to the child. You know what I'm saying? But the child is not a victim of that. The child can change all that with awareness, changing what you have been doing through your life and do the opposite of what you've been doing. Then this is how they can learn from you, and in turn you can learn from them, because you're picking things up from them as well. You know what I'm saying? You're picking up more of the natural, harmonious frequency of how things should actually be. Since we've been pulled so polarized to the left side, and we can observe and see how balanced and how perfect a child is, we can actually balance ourselves that way as well. Now, plants, for example, can sense the vibration and love that you're giving them. If you're in your heart space, you give out that green thumb. This is how, for example, you'll have a harmonious relationship with your plants. The plants are always going to thrive and flourish. You know what I'm saying? Because you are the environment. If I'm in my garden, I am influencing the environment of my plants with my energy, but I am also influencing it when I'm feeding the plants, when I'm pruning the plants. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I may be around them. The wind happens to blow a branch right by my neck. That is actually a harmonious event, a happening that with the environment, the plant was able to hug me. You know what I'm saying? Caress my skin. So you're teaching the tree something, and the tree is giving you something back that you cannot experience. All right? But there's also a way to be able to transfer your consciousness into many different people and things. Because here's the thing, though. That's why the saying goes, some people say, man, put yourself in my shoes, man. Put yourself in my shoes and see where I'm coming from. The saying goes like that because you're able to put yourself in that person's shoes, and you should be able to telepathically communicate with somebody, being more empathic, but in a balanced way so that you're not out of control. You know what I'm saying? So you can have a green thumb in life. This is your relationship with life. If your relationship is negative toward life, then you are not going to have a balanced, harmonious life. You're going to look at life a certain way. For example, if you have a green thumb with life, children are going to be attracted to you. Bugs and animals are going to be attracted to you. Your garden is going to flourish. And also certain careers, certain situations, people, places, and things are going to align themselves a certain way in your life because you have a green thumb. You're in your natural state. You get what I'm saying? But don't forget, don't get me wrong, man. See, here's the thing. A lot of people say I'm in my heart space. They start to think about the sissy soft way of looking at things. This heart space, like I said, I'm going to make a video. It's actually a war organ as well. It's actually a war organ. Because if you think about it, okay, when you're fighting somebody, do you notice how if you're staying in the fight, regardless of the blows you've taken, they say, oh, that person got heart. You know what I'm saying? You control your heart rate frequency as well. Doctors inject you with cortisol sometimes when your blood pressure gets too low. And that's a stress hormone. But if you are able to manipulate, because you're big pharma, you're a big pharmacy, and you have all the elixirs that you always look out for in like drugstores or the medical industry. You have all these chemicals. It's just about knowing how to utilize them. Get to know your systems a little bit. And what happens here is that you can release the proper chemicals at the right times. Again, if somebody jabs at me, I create adrenaline in my system and I know how to defend myself. It don't mean I'm any less spiritual than that. If somebody jabs at me or takes a low blow at me or something, then the jab is coming directly to your nose. You will be blinded. So knowing this from the inside out is how it operates. You see, I'm sweating profusely right now. I get the juices flowing this way. I like to be in this heat when I'm making a video because it gets my juices flowing. My body is a little bit under stress, but it also creates certain chemicals to be able to be in a better flow. The heat, I utilize it to my advantage. When I'm feeling cold, I'm a little stiffer, but I am also a little bit slower. You get what I'm saying? Vibration speeds up when you have a little bit of heat. I'm also sweating out toxins. I'm exercising things out of my system through my pores. You get what I'm saying? So get this before, like this is the last thing I'll say, and then I'm gonna cut this video off, and I'm gonna make a video specifically separately on this. The kids, when they get vaccinated, you know, you're a big storehouse, a big warehouse of bacteria and viruses. They're all ancient. The moment they, and I didn't know this until I have my son. They have to have a book of vaccines, all just to get along. See, this is the go along to get along energy, right? I don't want to get along. I don't want to go along just to get along. So you don't ride that wave. You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of the times now, in order for you to go to school, in order for you to go to the gyms now, in order for you to go anywhere, you got to have the vaccinations. When a child here comes into the planet, you can't take him to school unless he gets his vaccines, right? So that's why my son is doing homeschool. right? So, I mean, I'm going to make a separate video on that, just so that the message is clear on that. So that's all I got to say on this. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I started this video on the melanin topic, all right? See, you have the neuromelanin, okay? You have the gray matter in your brain, all right, that can actually become bigger. You know what I'm saying? And the way that happens is through meditation, focus, and breathing exercises, right? Breathing exercises because something's getting stronger. Your focus muscle is actually being exercised. When you're visualizing, all right, you're exercising your focus muscle because you're staying focused on something so long enough that you can make it so lucid. Okay? So I'll make another video on that as well. I'm going to talk about on the vaccine part. But gray matter, all right, is Jean Grey. That's why X-Men, if you look at the Marvel X-Men heroes, Jean Grey was the most powerful one. And look at the first name, Jean. Your genes. We'll talk soon.